the mystery circuit on our cine footage seems to have been. Hello folks, I'm Alex Burnham. Welcome to Motorsport Detectives, this episode 4 of our Jumbled Up Sports Cars series. Now in episodes 1 to 3 we've been looking at this cine footage which says motor racing, and we discovered it actually contained racing from various different tracks that have been all spliced together and mixed up. We identified Brands Hatch and Spa-Francorchamps on that footage, and in episodes 2 and 3 we looked in detail at those events. But some of the footage was confusing me. I couldn't place the track. To work out what our mystery circuit is, the best thing we can do is go back to that cine footage. So this is the footage I first thought might have been from Spa, because we can see cars both on a circuit close to us and then returning back again on circuit further away in the distance. I soon realised this can't have been Spa, however. The topography is just all wrong. So it's slightly crude perhaps, but here I've drawn the track I can see in the footage. Down here we've got where our cameraman is standing and his rough direction of view. And we can see that the cars are coming in here and travelling in front of us around this corner, and then a little while later they're returning again via that part of the track. The next piece of footage sees cars travelling down a slight dip into that left-hander with flags lining the circuit. It's then followed by the same corner, judging by the flags, but with the camera moved further round the bend. With our first camera position down here, with the cars entering in, heading around the bend there, and then our second position looking in the other direction. Now in this shot I think our cameraman is standing down here as the cars pass by him down to that right hand bend in the distance. This next section is a pretty simple right hand bend. This is just pretty much a straight section of track with the cars travelling underneath that shell bridge. Now this final section I think must be near the start and finish straight. You can just about make out in the distance that the cars have come down and done sort of a left-right jink. I think the cars are coming in at the top doing this left-right jink, and I think it's possible that we can just make out the entrance to the pits on the side of the circuit. So in episodes 2 and 3 of our Jumbled Up Sports Car series we found out that we had footage from the 1971 World Sports Car Championship. So I think I'm going to look there and see whether another circuit on that championship might be our mystery track. I found a calendar for that year's events and there are a few circuits I can instantly cross off. I know it's not Daytona because there's no high-speed banking. Brands Hatch we've already seen in episode 2 of our little series. The shots we have are definitely not from Monza. And again, Spa-Francorchamps is the focus of our episode 3. That leaves us with 3 potential circuits from that championship year. We've got the Buenos Aires circuit, we've got the Nürburgring, and we've got the Ostrich Ring. Because the rest of our footage was shot in Europe, for now I'm going to ignore the Buenos Aires race. Now I'll be honest, trying to identify corners on the huge Nürburgring scares me slightly. So I'm going to ignore that for now as well, and look first at the Ostrich Ring. Now these days this track is better known as the Red Bull Ring. We need to look at the 70s version of the track. Now first impressions of this circuit are looking pretty favourable. The section just before the Bosch curve on our track map has a similar look to what I drew from some of the race footage on our cine film. The area marked as the chicane also bears a resemblance to some of the stuff I drew. It was looking promising until I went and searched for confirmation. I found some photographs from that 1971 Ostrich Ring race, and they're not really lining up with our cine footage. The start-finish straight here looks very different to what I presumed was our start-finish straight on the footage. What's more, the heavily tree-lined circuit in our film looks quite different to the more open spaces of those Austrian mountains. With the Ostrich Ring looking less likely, I've decided I'm going to have to look at the massive Nürburgring. Now the old 13-mile long Nordschleife has a lot of corners to choose from. It's reported the Nürburgring has about 150 odd corners. That's a lot for me to choose through. However, one section that I saw in the footage doesn't really seem to line up with any of those. This section of the footage, where we could see the cars passing in front of us and then returning again a bit further away, doesn't actually line up with anywhere that I can think of on the Nürburgring. With the Nordschleife effectively driving around a mountain, there are very few areas where you can see more than one or two corners, and nothing really lines up with being able to see those two different sections passing in front of you in such close proximity. For now, I think I might eliminate the Nürburgring as our potential mystery circuit, but that leaves me with nowhere else really to go. So I found a list of as many sports car races from 1971 that I could find, in the hopes that somewhere on this list might be our mystery circuit. This new list has given me plenty of options, and again, some I can eliminate because I know the layout of the circuit just doesn't match what's in our footage. What I've decided to do is go back to the footage to see if we can find another way of identifying our circuit. Now, a lot of the cars in this footage are a bit blurry and indistinct. However, one car really does stand out clear as a bell. This Alfa Romeo 33.3 is in focus for a good long stretch of time, and it's just about possible to make out a race number. If we look on this website, we've got a list of all the events that Alfa Romeo entered during that 1971 season. The first one that really catches my eye from this list is a race at the Salzburg Ring. And now the map of the Salzburg Ring is looking quite promising. With these sections of track being ever so close, well, that could lead us to a situation where you'd be able to see the track in both directions. There are also a few areas which have that sort of left-right switch that we saw in our footage. Photos of the Salzburg Ring also show a tree-lined track. However, it seems a lot flatter than the circuit that we've seen in the video. Having gone back to our footage and tried to line up some of our footage to corners on the Salzburg Ring, it's close, but I'm not convinced. One of the things that's confusing me, I think, is the background. Salzburg Ring is sort of in the bottom of a dip between mountains with these trees and mountains in the background. However, our footage seems to have rather flatter terrain and possibly even water, a river, a lake running in the distance. I think the Salzburg Ring needs to go in the maybe pile, and we need to move on our 1971 Alfa Romeo entry list. Next on our list is an inter-series race from Zolder Circuit in Belgium. One of the Alfa Romeo 33.3s that was entered into this race bears the racing number 17, and in our cine footage, I'm pretty sure that's the number on the car. So I've got a map of the 1971 layout of the Zolder circuit, and it's looking very promising. That first footage we saw with cars passing both in front of and further away, well, that lines up very well with this bottom end of the circuit. The corner with the flags, which we shot from two different vantage points, could easily be either turns 5 or 6 here on the track. That long sweeping left-hander into a harder right represents turn 7 at the top of the Zolder track, and that could easily lead in to our hard right-hand bend, which we saw in our footage. Finally, that left-right jink that I thought might be the start-finish straight with the entrance to the pits, well, that lines up pretty much perfectly. So my crude drawings line up. The presence of the correct numbered Alfa Romeo sports car lines up. What I need is a couple of photographs of the circuit back in the 70s to see how close our footage is to what it looked like. This black and white photo shows an accident from that 71 Inter-Series race. But what I'm mostly interested actually is in the background, where you can see the track goes over a rise underneath a shell footbridge. This old track map is quite interesting as well. If you remember, one of the shots looked like there might have been water in the background, a lake or something like that. You can clearly see from this old map that the Albert Canal runs alongside the track and would probably be visible from the vantage point that our cameraman is in. So there we go. The mystery circuit on our cine footage seems to have been Zolder in Belgium. Our number 17 Alfa Romeo did all right in that race with Tony Heisman behind the wheel. He came home in 3rd place behind a Porsche 917 Spider and a McLaren M8E. This cine footage turned out to have a whole variety of stuff on it, and over these 4 episodes we've looked at the different footage from Brands Hatch, from Spa-Francorchamps, and now from Zolder. I hope you've enjoyed some of these episodes, and if you've not seen them all, please do scroll through my channel and find some of the other ones to see for yourself what we discovered. please do subscribe to my channel whilst you're at it, and come back again to watch more Motorsport Detectives.